Donald Trump delivered a new broad warning Saturday to anyone who engages in unscrupulous behavior during the 2024 campaign. We don't usually read Trump's rants from his social media site on this show, but I do want you to hear his words this time. Trump writes in part, quote, "The 2024 election, where votes have just started being cast, will be under the closest professional scrutiny, and when I win, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences so that this depravity of justice does not happen again. Please be aware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials. Those involved in unscrupulous behavior will be sought out, caught, and prosecuted at levels, unfortunately, never seen before in our country." End quote. Joining us now, MSNBC legal analyst and New York University law professor Melissa Murray. Okay, so I need to go wash my mouth out, but go ahead.
I took that as not just a threat, but a promise and an attempt at intimidation. But how did you read that? And could what he is promising or warning about actually come to pass if he is a re-elected president?
So, yes, yes, and yes. So it does read like intimidation. Like, you are allowed to have poll watchers, to have individuals who are there to protect the integrity of elections, to answer questions from prospective voters as they're standing in line to vote. None of that is untoward. What is untoward is threatening to prosecute people for doing that sort of protocol, which is to ensure the right to vote. So there may actually be some legal problems. He may want to get a lawyer for that part of it. But again, I think this is intended to deter individuals who might go out to the polls to do poll watching. Organizations like the NAACP, which does this on a regular basis during the election cycle, to deter them from doing that and to make clear that if he is successful, there will be consequences for those who try and secure the vote.
Okay, you or me?
I mean, the body language is telling me you, so go ahead.
No, folks, this is already happening. It's already happening. I give you Georgia. Look at what the legislature has done in Georgia. Look at what they're doing in other states. Donald Trump is just layering in. The platform is being created for everything he just said in that tweet. It's already being created. And the fact of the matter is, just stop and just for a moment, let's just go to Fantasyland 101 and pretend that the Democratic nominee for president of the United States issued that warning. What the heck do you think people will be talking about this morning? How much noise would there be in this across this country that a Democratic candidate for president has threatened workers, poll workers, has threatened voters? Well, and I'm finished up, and I'm going to give it to you. I'm so sick and tired of people just passing this crap off from this man as if it's just Donald Trump. He don't mean it. He's just talking. They're already laying the platform for this.
So, one, a Democratic nominee would never do this because this is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. Donald Trump has done his best to distance himself from Project 2025. This is so in keeping with Project 2025, to watch the polls, to threaten individuals who would secure the vote. I mean, again, all of this is part of it. We are literally in this moment where the frog is being boiled incrementally. We are moving slowly, incrementally toward an authoritarian regime. This is trademark authoritarianism, watching the polls, promising surveillance, and promising retribution.
So I'm going to see you, Georgia, and raise you, Florida, where we have reporting that the Department of State has sent an email to the supervisor of elections saying that they want to look into supposed fraud in the signing of petitions that would protect Amendment 4, that would protect abortion access in Florida. And you have the supervisor of elections saying this is highly irregular. This is going to take me like 140 hours to do. And you have Floridians just participating in their democracy who now have police officers showing up at their door. This is not something that is in the future. The playbook is being run right now, and it has a chilling effect.
No, it's intended to have a chilling effect. It's supposed to be a deterrent. This abortion initiative on the ballot in Florida is expected to drive huge voter turnout in the Sunshine State, a state that went overwhelmingly for Trump in the last election, but may be up for grabs now because of the salience of abortion to so many voters. The fact that they're doing this shows how important this question is to the voters and shows that they're scared. Right, so they are trying to deter people who have already signed the petition to put this on the ballot in the first place from actually showing up on Election Day to vote for it. And again, highly irregular, would encourage the Florida ACLU to get on this. This seems like a subject for them. But again, just makes clear they are running scared on these questions, and they're doing everything in their power, and they have considerable power to make sure that this doesn't materialize.
Can I just put up one more form of projection by Trump, consistent with this conversation, where he talks about signing pardons day one at a rally in Wisconsin.
If Comrade Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, you will be living a full-blown banana republic ruled by an anarchy and a tyranny. The moment we win, we will rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner unjustly victimized by the Harris regime, and I will sign their pardons on day one. I will sign it on day one. Right? Day one.
Is he talking about the January 6th?
Yes.
It's the people who took up arms against the United States government.
Yes.
A siege that so harrowing. We haven't seen anything like that since the Civil War. Is that what he's talking about?
That's what he's talking about.
Where police officers were brutalized?
Yes, and one was killed.
And one was killed? Is this what he's saying?
Right. And the thing that, number one, can you just sort of drop the comrade crap? All right, it's kind of juvenile. You're grown. You're a 78-year-old man. Act like one. Number one. Number two, this narrative that you just laid out goes part and parcel with everything we're talking about here. That he is lifting up the people who are actually doing the criming, and the insurrections, right, and going after everyday Americans who are just trying to exercise their rights to vote.
So, when I come on the show, I'm going to find a way to talk about the Supreme Court. So here it is. The Supreme Court has actually made it possible for him to do this.
Yes.
That immunity decision from July is so sweeping that the president can actually issue pardons. He could probably take money for issuing pardons, and it would be okay because the Supreme Court has said that he has immunity for his official acts, and the pardon power is explicit in the Constitution. So, he has wide authority in the Supreme Court, his Supreme Court, that he installed with 3 Trump justices to make a conservative 6-3 supermajority, has basically blessed this. So the Supreme Court is not coming to save us. We have to save ourselves. Like, authoritarianism is literally on the doorstep.
You know what, Melissa? This, to me, speaks to why this election is so important, because it is going to be a dogfight between, literally fighting down to the last moment between Vice President Harris and former President Trump. But the House and the Senate matter here, because not only is the Supreme Court not coming to save you, if Speaker Johnson is still the Speaker come January 6th, he ain't saving y'all either. This Congress matters, and it matters for voting rights. It matters for, we're talking a lot about November 5th, but after November 5th, they still have to certify that election.
Yeah. There are going to be litigation challenges. So people just need to be prepared.
Yes.
The election will happen on one day. We will not have a result on that day. You have to be prepared. This is going to be a marathon, not a sprint.
Thank you.
Stay lubricated, stay hydrated, all of the things. Pack a lunch. It's going to be a while.
Yes.
And there are going to be litigation challenges. You have to do all of that stuff. And it's going to be a long time. It's going to go to the courts. This is a lower federal court, a lower federal judiciary that is absolutely stocked with Trump jurists that were put in place by the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, and Donald Trump. There's going to be a long time.
We have a minute left, but you two have been out on the road talking with Black women voters. I love you guys together.
Bestie.
Big sister?
Okay, good. My big cousin. You don't want to be auntie, okay?
I am not an auntie.
I didn't call you auntie. But you could be my big
Well, it was great having you on, Melissa.
Let me just say, Melissa was like this when we were out on the road. road, people.
We had a great time.
Yes, we took a summer girls trip talking to black women all over the country, from the cities to the suburbs
and everywhere in between.
Yes, as we like to say.
And did this democracy, the way we're talking about this, did this come up?
100%.
Yeah.
We talked to black women in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, like, again, a swing district there in Pennsylvania, a swing state, and they were adamant. They didn't care who the Democratic nominee was. They were voting for that person because they believed democracy and their children's futures were on the line. And they said it over and over and over again.
They brought it up unprompted, which was shocking to me. They brought up, not just in that conversation, but we talked to some young millennial black women, and they brought up Project 2025 on their own. I said, look at Project 2025 breaking through. So if you want more of what Melissa and I got into, you should tune in on September 29th, Melissa?
September 29th at 9 p.m. right here on MSNBC. It's going to be lit.
Amazing.